World's Greatest Beers is a new book from 𝗪់. Written by 8 renowned beer experts and authors, it's a collection of the stories and flavours behind the 250 best beers ever made.
Jeez, mate, I'll see you there.
As authoritative as it is entertaining, this book will take you on adventures from Pilsen to Portland, and along the way gives you strong opinions,
and I'll fight anyone who says that I was wrong.
Controversial choices,
because I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily regard it as beer.
Big decisions.
God, that's hard. They're basically like children at this point.
And incredible insights.
So the most amazing things are going on.
You can get your copy from the 𝗪̀ bookshop or any good book retailer today. But if you still need some convincing, here are the thoughts of some of the illustrious contributors.
What makes a beer worthy of being called one of the greatest? Well, if we read the labels, it's the finest hops and the choicest barley.
If you want to make a really great beer, then you use the finest malting barley, the finest hops, and you ferment it slowly and you produce something sublime.
But I think it's more than that. I think a great beer is one of those beers where the person who created it could give the exact recipe to someone else and they wouldn't be able to replicate it.
It needs to have a resonance that goes beyond the glass. So it should be delicious, it should be special, it should be noteworthy when you drink it. But it needs to have a broader significance, whether that's something that is really personal to you and lives in your memory that you kind of carry over the years, or a broader place in the culture or the industry.
If you can't get that beer out of your head, like it changed something fundamentally about what you consider beer is, what you consider beer culture is, you know, the flavours that are possible to get out of brewing, out of fermentation. If it changes something like that, then I think we can regard it as one of the greatest beers, or greatest even sort of cultural moments in the world.
The beer that I would drink again and again and again is my answer.
If I could only choose one beer from my selection, it would be, by sheer good luck and coincidence, this one, which is Timothy Taylor Landlord. Golden Promise malting barley from Scotland and Styrian Golding hops from Slovenia.
I would say that it's the beer that surprised me most, and that was the non-alcoholic beer. I first encountered this beer blind judging in a competition. It must have been 2020 because it was a lockdown blind judging at home, and it completely blew me away. I'd never tasted anything like it. It was just like a full-flavoured, full-strength IPA, but no alcohol. It's from Athletic Brewing Company. It's called Free Wave, and it was absolutely staggering. That one surprised me more than anything else that I chose in the book.
I don't know a more drinkable ale. So there's lots of incredibly beautiful, crisp lagers that, you know, will be the perfect beer if you could only drink one beer for the rest of your life. But what I love about Allagash White is that it has that crushability, that drinkability of these lagers, while simultaneously, as well as being simple, it's incredibly complex. There's so many aromas. Like, everybody describes that beer differently. Like, I put in the book lemon meringue, but other people, you know, they get loads of the coriander, loads of the orange, loads of that kind of wit beer, lemon yogurt thing.
If it's like I'm on death row and I've got one beer and that's going to be my last beer that I ever have, then it's going to be Orkney Dark Island Reserve, because I'm going to spend most of whatever time I have just sniffing its gorgeous aromas.
I think I would go for a classic lager, maybe an Augustiner Helles, Tegernsee Hell, Pilsner Urquell, something that I could have every single day and never get sick of. Always refreshing and delicious and just hits the spot every time.
If I'm going to choose one beer because that's the only beer that I can drink for the rest of my life, but I've still got a long time to go, then it's going to be something that mixes sessionability with flavour and always has something to surprise you. And it would be, the beer that's in front of me right now, Thornbridge Jaipur.
I have so many controversial choices on my list, but actually the one I've chosen is Anagram by 𝗪mě, because I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily regard it as beer. They consider, you know, the adjuncts that have gone in, blueberry flavouring, lactose, all this kind of stuff is kind of ruining the artisan element. It's just the most incredible sensory experience to drink that, to have all of those incredible chocolatey flavours, all of those incredible caramel flavours, all the dates and the raisins, all stuff you get from a Great Imperial Stout, but on top of that, just a bucket load of blueberry and sweetness. It is absolute dessert in a glass, and if that doesn't make it beer, I don't want to know what beer is.
I think people are going to have less respect for me because I chose Asahi Super Dry. because how on earth can you put an evil old macro lager into a book about the greatest beers in the world? I don't know if Camera have ever done that before, but it stands its ground. I went to the brewery in Japan. It's brewed to an incredibly high standard, and it's one of those beers that in context makes perfect sense. If you're under the little cafes under the arches of Ginza Station in central Tokyo, Asahi Super Dry is the only beer you want to drink, with all the lovely barbecue chicken, that's teriyaki chicken and karaage that's coming off the grill.
I think people should buy this book because there are a lot of kind of top beer roundup books out there, but I don't think any of them have this kind of personality and perspective.
We're different genders, we're different ages, we've had different experiences, we're from different countries, and so while there was a good bit of overlap in our selection, there's a lot of difference as well. Most of the beers that we all chose, only one person chose them. So it's a really nice cross-section of beers, I think. And if you want to spend, as some people do, spend your lifetime trying to tick all the beers off that are in the book, then I think you'd have some pretty special adventures on the way.
World's Greatest Beers is available from Camera Books now.